All right, let's dive into something that, believe it or not, influences pretty much every moment of your life: environmental psychology. We're going to talk about how the world around you is constantly shaping who you are.
Think about it. You've definitely felt this, right? That feeling of just being totally wiped out in a chaotic, crowded office versus the calm that just kind of washes over you when you're out in a park. Well, it turns out that's not just a feeling. There's some real science behind it.
And that science is called environmental psychology. It's this really cool field that digs into how we experience and react to, well, everything. From the way your living room is set up, to the design of your entire city, and even those natural spots we all love to escape to.
So just how much of an impact are we talking about here? Let's get into it and take a look at the hidden ways our brains are constantly reacting to the places we find ourselves in. This is the big idea, the core takeaway. The places we're in aren't just there. They're not some static background for our lives. No, they are an active player. They're literally shaping our moods, cranking up our stress, or helping us relax and focus.
And this field is huge. It covers everything from our basic interactions with our surroundings to how our brain even makes sense of what it sees, to the feelings and actions that result from all that. And what's really important is how we can use all this knowledge to build better, more sustainable places for people to actually live.
Okay, but how does a building or a street actually get inside our heads and change how we act? Well, there's a pretty clear psychological process. You can think of it like a pipeline that takes what we see and turns it into what we do.
It breaks down into 3 pretty simple steps. So first, there's perception. You just notice something in your environment, like, say, some trash on the street. Easy enough. Then comes cognition. Your brain starts to process that information. You think, oh, that's pollution, that's not healthy. And finally, that leads to an attitude. You form a feeling about it, maybe a sense of responsibility, and that influences your behavior. You decide, okay, I'm going to make sure I use the trash can. See? It's a straight line from seeing to thinking to doing.
All right, so let's take that whole process and apply it to where most of us spend our time, the city. This is really where the rubber meets the road for environmental psychology, with some massive real-world implications.
Now, before we go any further, we have to get this one key difference straight. There's density and there's crowding. Density is just a number. It's objective. It's how many people are packed into a certain area. But crowding? Crowding is a feeling. It's that awful, subjective, get out of my bubble feeling. You could be in a super high density concert and have the time of your life, but then feel incredibly crowded on a subway car with way fewer people. It's all about that perception of personal space.
And that feeling of crowding, plus things like constant traffic noise, well, it takes a real toll. Study after study shows these urban stressors are directly linked to higher levels of anxiety and other serious mental health issues. What do we do about it? What's the fix? Well, one of the most exciting answers is something called biophilic design. The idea behind it is something called the biophilia hypothesis, which is just a fancy way of saying that we humans have this deep, inbuilt need to connect with nature. So when we design buildings with more natural light, more plants, more natural textures, we're tapping into that need. And the result? We actually reduce stress and improve our mood. It's that simple.
Now, this whole idea of designing things with our psychology in mind, it leads us straight into another massive area: sustainability. How can we use these principles to nudge ourselves and society toward more eco-friendly habits?
It's all about making small, clever changes to the environment that encourage greener choices. For instance, when you tell people most of your neighbors recycle, that's using social norms to encourage them to do the same. Or think about those smart meters that show you your energy usage in real time. That's powerful feedback. It's about taking these abstract ideas and making them personal and immediate. It's all about understanding what makes us tick to make being sustainable feel like the easiest, most natural thing to do.
Because that's the end game, right? We want to design our world so that the sustainable option is the easy option, the default option. And environmental psychology literally gives us the instruction manual for how to build systems that do exactly that.
Okay, so let's pull all these threads together and look forward. The challenges facing our planet are, frankly, huge. And figuring out our own psychology is going to be absolutely essential in how we choose to face them.
You know the list. We're talking about climate change, cities growing at an unbelievable rate, the loss of nature. These aren't just headlines. These are massive forces that are actively shaping the physical world that you and I and our kids are going to live in.
And this is where environmental psychology becomes so critical.
It gives us the tools to understand the human part of the equation. Because listen, new technology and government policies are great, but they're not enough. If we don't understand how people perceive the world, what motivates them, and why they act the way they do, our solutions just won't stick.
So I'm going to leave you with this one big question to think about. We've seen just how much our surroundings, our cities, our offices, our homes, have a deep and profound impact on us. So, if the spaces we build are constantly building us, then who do we want to become? And what kind of world do we need to start building right now to make that happen?